Hi, welcome back to Spider's Web. This week, I'm sitting here with the amazingly talented and versatile pianist, the fabulous Jeremy Kahn, who I have worked with extensively. We've been all over the world, and we've done so many concerts and shows together. And he's a brilliant jazz pianist, as well as playing for some of the Broadway shows like Lion King and Wicked. And now he's sitting here with me. Say hello, Jeremy Kahn.
Hey, thanks for reading that exactly how I wrote it out.
Yeah, I made sure. I thought you were going to kill me if I didn't get it right.
Yeah, you nailed it. And that's why you're the pro that you are.
Oh, yes.
Well, we should set the scene because we are here wrapped around a deli platter and chips and potato salad waiting, living the dream.
Yeah, it's a theater here. We're doing two theater concerts, actually, and that are housed at a college, and we have 2 sold-out shows. We just finished one.
Go figure.
We stuffed ourselves with sandwiches and all kinds of bad stuff. Now we're to see if we have any energy to talk.
In the music business, when they bring the band sandwiches, we often combine those 2 words and refer to them as bandwiches.
Oh, yes. I remember when I was at a gig and they called it, "Did you get your bandwich?" And I'm like, what? First time I ever heard it. I thought it was so clever.
It's a very descriptive term, yes.
It is. Because it's kind of dinner that you
Well, yeah, when you're watching the guests served lobster thermidor and they say, well, you guys are going to get fed, and you go, oh, yeah. And then they go, okay, well, here's your 3-day-old turkey sandwich and a Mrs. Fields cookie.
Woo! Actually, the sandwiches were very
good.
Yes,
very
They
good.
were nice.
Jules' finest.
They were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So, Jeremy Kahn, we've known each other for 400 years, and we both lived in New York at the same time. We played the same clubs, and I moved to Chicago, and 6 months later, you moved back to Chicago where you had grown up.
Right.
And then we finally met on the bandstand at the Gold Star Sardine Bar, which has been mentioned on this show before. And it was
a crazy place.
Legendary room that was partly owned by Bobby Short and managed and for the most part run by a real wild man named Bill Allen. But he certainly hired a lot of great musicians, and we had a blast playing there.
He loved the music. He was very passionate in his support of a very specific kind of music. If you went outside the boundaries, he expressed
He would get very angry.
Yeah.
He would be very disturbed with you, and you may be asked to leave.
Yeah, luckily the kind of music that I like to play overlapped with the kind that he liked to hear.
Me too, meow. And we were the favorite children. But it was a blast. And the night that you came and sat in,
you brought a new kind of love.
a new kind of love to me. Yes.
Why would you call that song? That's a pretty obscure tune.
I think I had a brain cramp, and then you blew the roof off with it, and I'm like, meow, that was a really stupid choice, but the guy was great.
I got lucky. It's like, wow, I know that one. But, that one is not exactly a mainstream selection.
I have no idea why on earth. But, well, the rest was magic, and then I ended up working with you for 400 years. But you became...
It's only been 25
Yes. It was. Yes, it has. Only 25.
To be accurate.
Is it really that long?
Sorry, yeah.
Ay.
Well, the whole reason that I was there that night was, if we back it up, I got a phone call a few days before that. I was new to Chicago. Pick up the phone. Jeremy Kahn? Yeah? This is Bill Allen from the Gold Star Sardine Bar, and Eden Atwood thinks you're hot. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. And I was thinking the whole time, who's Bill Allen? What is an Eden Atwood?
And a Gold Star
and
sardine
what is a
bar.
Gold Star sardine bar? But I played dumb and was very complimented. And so a couple days later, I thought I would drop by this boîte, as they say, and there you were, and I identified myself to Bill, and he said, "Well, you should get up there and play." So so I sat in. I think Dan DiLorenzo was playing bass.
Wow, you have a really good memory.
I remember him smiling at me.
Oh,
And,
man.
I don't remember who the drummist was.
I don't remember either. No, only
They're-
parts of our brains are still functioning.
Drummers, they all
They're all
look
like-
alike. Dime a dozen.
But it was a crazy time, and then Jeremy ended up becoming the regular pianist there from then on until it folded.
For the last 3 years, and you know, there was I played there 5, sometimes 6 nights a week, and Bill kept getting in disputes with the landlord, where he thought he was getting ripped off, so he wouldn't pay his rent, and he kept saying, "Oh, they're going to close this place." But it was like the boy who cried wolf for years, until finally one day he said, "Yeah, if you got anything at the club, you better come and get it, because the sheriff is coming and changing the locks on the door." And it had a different tone.
And that was Jeremy Kahn you were listening to playing, and he's still here with me, and we're talking about the Gold Star closing its doors.
But the lucky thing about it was that they were liquidating all of their assets, and they gave me an amazing deal on their wonderful piano,
That you have to
which
this
is
day.
in my living room. And back then, you could smoke in these places, and you
Oh
would.
boy, could you smoke in that place. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
And it almost didn't seem that smoky until you got home. You know,
And
my wife.
everything smelled. You had to put it outside.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't let me hang my clothing in the closet. She said, "Hang that in the bathroom," you know. So we get the piano into the house, and it's like, it smells like cigarettes and perfume, and but,
I never knew that story.
and it also it had a weird buzz when I would play. It was like, I thought maybe there was a bad hinge or something, and so I got the technician in.
I'm afraid to think what they
A piano tuner named Charlie, and we of course referred to him as Charlie the Tuner.
Oh, and
Boom.
I never heard of him either.
Yeah.
Charlie the Tuner.
So he did lots of great work on the piano, and he cleaned it so it no longer smelled like Chanel number 2 and and cigarettes. And then he says, "Hey, I figured out what that buzzing was." And it wasn't a hinge with a loose screw. He opens up his hand, and there's a bunch of squished saxophone reeds, which, in a fit of pique over the years, a certain sax player,
I can imagine who you're talking about.
I'm not going to name names, but his initials are Eric Schneider. He would go, "This reed is terrible," and he would throw it into the piano, and it would work its way under the soundboard until there was a whole collection of them in there.
That's hilarious. Did you ever tell him this?
Oh, I tell him every couple
Well,
of weeks.
all right, so everybody tune in and make sure you're going to be listening in with Eric Schneider while he hears about his naughty escapades on the stage of the Gold Star.
Well, that's the least of it, but
yes.
I like giving Eric a hard time. about that. So we cleaned up the piano and got Eric's reeds out of there.
Did you give them back to him?
I should have.
You should put them in a gift bag.
Yeah, they're long gone. That would have been a great idea.
That would have been a beautiful gift idea.
Because Eric and I hire each other on gigs, and
as I do too. The three of us try to work together.
But Eric and I don't know who started it. I think it was me. Sometimes if a gig pays $150, I'll give him $148 in bills and do the rest in like pennies and nickels just to watch his face. So Eric does not take that sort of thing lightly. So from time to time he'll turn about his fair play. Just when I have forgotten this little ruse, he'll do it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is too funny.
Yeah.
But we all had some crazy experiences with people that would come in. I'll never forget the night that Liza Minnelli came in and climbed onto the stage, and I didn't have to utter another breath all night.
I bet not.
She sang all night, and it was so packed I couldn't get off the stage. I could not move. I had to sit on the edge of the stage like a pet dog that was handed lots of champagne. So it was a happy time, and she killed.
I remember Coach Mike Ditka getting carried out of there because he had had about 14 martinis or something.
Yes. He came quite a few times. One night he fell over like a tree, and a couple of the bears carried him out.
Yeah, Richard Dent used to hang out there.
Yeah.
Well, you know the story about Pia Zadora singing there.
That was before my time.
It was before my time, too.
Heard the legendary story, yeah.
Yeah, they hired her and a full orchestra, and this is a place that only could hold like 75 patrons. And Bill proudly told me, no customers, just press.
Who needs those pesky customers?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God. That is too funny. Well, right now we're going to segue into some favorite music of Jeremy Kahn's.
Yes,
so
let's do that.
Whatever we listen to, it's his fault.
Okay.
It's his fault.
Sorry.
Hi, we're back, and we're still talking to Jeremy Kahn. He's still here. Oh, but wait a minute. If he leaves, I'm in trouble because we have another show to do.
I'm not going anywhere.
Now, please don't go anywhere. I'd be in such trouble. But we were talking about the Gold Star, and then we were talking about, how the nature of our business has changed so much as far as how difficult it is to be a jazz musician and work all the time, and that the Gold Star was one of the last golden, steady gigs that still existed.
It's true. Like I said in the last segment, sometimes I was there 6 nights a week.
Wow.
And there, back in the day, I feel like such a curmudgeon saying that, but there were lots of steady gigs for musicians, even in I was just having a conversation last night. Even in the generations older than us, if people are willing to believe that there actually was a generation older than us, every hotel had its own house dance band, a full-size big band. Every lounge had at least a trio and a singer. And the guy I was talking to last night said he knew a guy who had made a good living in Las Vegas being nothing but a third trumpet player in a variety of big bands, and made a very good living and sent his kids to college.
Wow.
You ever
Wow.
ever see that Hitchcock movie, The Wrong Man?
Oh, yeah.
Henry Fonda.
True story.
Yeah, Henry
True
Fonda is a
story.
bass player
At the Stork Club.
Yeah, he's in one
Yep.
of those bands, and he's just sort of a working guy musician. He's got a wife and a kid, and that's how it was. And now we really have to scramble to put it together. You know,
You've done very well. You're best scrambler I've ever seen. No, but really, I mean, you've worked in so many different genres of music as well, though, too.
Are you saying that I've whored myself out?
You know, Jeremy Kahn, he's just a big hoe.
Uh-huh.
You're such a hoe. But you've done...
Escort, I prefer.
Yeah. Many of us call you an escort.
Musical escort.
And this is my musical escort, Mr. Kahn.
Well, seriously, sometimes I think of myself that way because when I work with different singers, I'll be on a gig and I'll go, ooh, she likes it when I do that. Oh, but then I play with a different singer and I go, oh no, but she doesn't like that. Ooh,
You say that to all the girls.
She likes it when I do this.
He is a musical escort.
Yeah.
But the fact that you play for Broadway shows and when we were in New York a couple of weeks ago, we played with Dick Sarpola, who's a very well-known New York bassist, but he's currently playing for Aladdin on Broadway and had played for Peggy Lee, and we did the Peggy Lee show with him, which was really cool. And we're completing our conversation with Jeremy Kahn. Yeah, because you know what? It's almost showtime.
No.
We may have to get on stage in a couple minutes, and I gotta get my lips back on. But we'll just conclude with your thoughts on where you are now in the business.
Oh, wow. Well, I was talking before about how many different kinds of things I did. I find myself in the last few years, not through my own choosing, self-selection by the universe, perhaps. I used to do a lot of weddings. Jobbing is what it's called in Chicago, where you are playing all things for all people, and that means keeping your equipment current and knowing all the latest songs.
Whoa.
And it's hard. And
I never knew those songs.
And it's really hard if you are not interested in that stuff. It makes it doubly hard. So I find myself doing less and less of that stuff, and I do more little jazz gigs, and plus I do more teaching than I used to do. And I'm finding that's kind of my typical week, is that I teach a fair amount, and then I'll do 4 or 5 jazz gigs, and that's feeding my soul better than the jobbing did. So
that's good.
Yeah, so I'm pleased where things are these days.
Well, I'm pleased that you're working with me and that you're out there playing. And once again, we're talking to Jeremy Kahn, and we say farewell for now, and come back and see me sometime. Good day and good night from Spider's Web. All the music you heard in today's episode was the music of Jeremy Kahn. If you want to stay in touch with me, check out spiderjazz.com. You can find accompanying recipes with today's episode. Also, you can check out taking voice lessons with me or check out future performances. But definitely come back and listen to us again soon here at Spider's Web.